This is the Seven Figure Standard Podcast, hosted by Arash Vasugi and Mikey Stiller, with mindset and strategies to help you break through and create personal freedom.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Seven Figure Standard Podcast. I'm Mikey Stiller, joined by my co-host, Arash Vasugi, and we're so thrilled to be back with you for another episode. Arash, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm great, Mikey. How are you?
I am doing great as well. You brought up a great topic for today's podcast, which is saying yes or being in that yes state of mind. And I'd love for you to kick us off. Why did you think that was an important topic for the podcast?
Well, I was just thinking about it because I remember, this was 20 years ago. I just started saying yes to everything. And all of a sudden, everything started shifting for me. I started attracting the right people. I got in closer proximity because I was willing to say yes, even when it made no sense. And think of people listening to this. How many vacations have you really wanted to go on, but you've never let yourself? I want you to say yes to it. How many opportunities have you really wanted to do, but you're uncomfortable saying yes to it? Say yes to it. When we start getting in the habit of saying yes, everything improves. First of all, now we're on a different frequency because what happens is the automatic response is, let me think about it. No. But that's the automatic response of people who are playing their life to not lose. The people who are playing it to win are always saying yes. I say yes to everything. I had a client, she said, Rosh, do you mind I don't know what you're going to respond to this, but would you be willing to get on a training with my team? I said, yes. I said, but you had to ask to even know what I was going to say. And what we have to do is get in the habit of living the way we want to live, but that's always by yes. Now, you could change your mind. I know I change my mind sometimes. I say yes right away, and then if it doesn't feel right, I say no. But we want to condition ourselves to say yes because I said it earlier, there's so many trips not being experienced that people really want to experience. There's so many business ideas that are not being implemented because of fear. There's so much self-esteem being limited by not saying yes. There's so many relationships that could be expanded upon by saying yes instead of worrying about what the other person is thinking. And then there's the big one. How many goals are we not leaning into and owning because we don't say yes? When I'm saying that last one is an important one, it's percolating inside of you. There's a big idea percolating, but you keep saying no to it. You keep saying no. What if you said yes? Watch what magic really accentuates in your life once you start doing that.
Mm-hmm. You said the default answer is no. And I think there's several versions of that. The versions look different for everybody. They look like, I would love to do this, but, and then a reason why they can't, or a justification. I would love to do that, but I can't because I have work commitments. I have these commitments. I have X, Y, or Z. I'll do that when, and putting it off till later. And so how can you play an and game, or how can you use and with yes?
Well, everything is the and game. I'm doing this and this. That's once somebody changes their philosophy. And so yes has to become a part of your philosophy. But playing the and game is, I'm going to say yes to this, and another idea comes, I'm going to say yes to that. And then you start working at it one idea at a time. But you're saying yes, so you're bringing it in your life, and you're going to see which one is the idea that I want to put my energy towards. Mm-hmm. I actually think the biggest thing that holds people back, I'll try. It is such a bad word. Mm-hmm. What you're saying is, I'm not doing it. What you're saying is, it sounds good that I'll try to do it, but I'm not going to be committed. Try is just as well as you might as well say no. Whenever somebody says, I'll try to me, I said, oh, you're in a dangerous place. Because that tells me that shows me interest, not commitment. And nothing works without focused commitment and disciplined commitment. So when we're saying yes, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm saying yes to it. Now I'm opening the space, and the universe is realizing, because the universe is here to serve us. It wants us to have everything we want. And the universe is like, oh, this dude really is going for it. I'm going to support him. And when we have to start understanding and realizing what we want is already here. Our only job is to get in harmony with it. Well, we're not going to get in harmony with it if we say no. Now, I'm not saying you should never say no. If something is not in harmony with how you want to live, of course you say no. But the habit of putting yes into your life is going to change things dramatically. Mike, I was telling you this the other day. I think I really believe this. I'm a great example of what yes will do. Because I was losing as bad as somebody can lose. And I just believed in a dream bigger that I said yes to, and I did not have the self-esteem. I did not have the knowledge. I did not have the strategies, but I had that one yes that turned into two yeses, that turned into three yeses, that changed the game for me. And if I can do it, anybody can do it.
Yeah. Well, and how much time are we losing by delaying decisions, by saying, I'll do it later, I can't do it right now, because we're too into the day-to-day to just say yes to the things that we really want. We don't have forever.
Yeah, it's so interesting because people say yes to the outside world. Yes, I'm going to let my results dictate my identity. I'm going to say yes and make up a story of what that person thinks of me. Why not release the shackles and start living the way we want to live? To live the way we want to live, we have to say yes, that I am deciding to live this way. There's a lot of people who pick up personal development books after personal development books, but they never do anything with them. You don't need another personal development book. You got to say yes to doing exactly what we're telling you to do. And it's not just me. If it's not me, it's somebody else. Say yes to somebody you connect with. But I don't think we need more books. I remember I've shared this story on the podcast when I think of books. But the only purpose of a book is if you teach it to somebody else. That's how you're going to understand it. And I want you to say yes to a great life. I want you to say yes to getting out of your comfort zone. I want you to say yes to going on an amazing trip. I remember my wife and I went to Europe for the first time. And I was resisting it because I was ignorant. Let me make that clear. Because I love Europe. I love traveling in Europe. But the first time I was like, oh my gosh, it's going to be 13 hours on a plane. I couldn't imagine doing it. But when I went there, I fell in love with Europe. And now we go usually once a year. But I had to say yes one time. Do you know, if I didn't say yes, how much I would have been limited from the experiences that we got to experience? But you don't even have to take it. You could take it to the small thing, because it's the small thing that create the big. It's the small yeses that create the big results. And I was on a podcast. They asked me, they go, what do you think the biggest misnomer about success is? I said, success has nothing to do with your achievements. It has to do with who you are and the processes you practice. Success to me has to do with who you are, who you show up. And when you are willing to commit to personal mastery on a deep level, you're going to keep getting better. And your world is going to keep getting better. And saying yes is going to keep getting easier and easier. And it's going to be more enticing. And you're going to want to keep saying yes.
God, that's so good. And it flows in so perfectly to what we have done an episode on, but what you teach so regularly, which is having a standard of excellence, because it's not just who you are one day a year or every once in a while, but who are you every single day when you wake up?
That's what it is. I mean, like, our days start the second we wake up on how our day is going to end. Like, if you're not practicing a morning routine, you're missing out significantly. But you have to say yes to that morning routine. You have to say yes to practicing your processes. And when you have to say yes to taking massive action with a swagger. That's a yes. So a lot of people probably don't think of it the way I think of it. Our world begins with us. So when we say yes to us, it starts the moment you commit to saying yes, your world is going to open up.
So with what we're talking about, saying yes, would you say that's more of a philosophy, a state of mind, or an attitude, or all three?
All three. It starts with a philosophy once you make it a philosophy. Because what is a philosophy is your underlying belief system. What is a belief? It's a thought repeated over and over again that creates the belief, right? And then it becomes your attitude. Like my attitude is yes to everything. So when you become a master at that, you're going to start seeing opportunities everywhere. I remember there was a time in my life where I'm like, oh my God, why is this philosophy not working? And it wasn't not working. First of all, it wasn't working it properly. I've been very clear about that. But once I started saying yes to a mentor, everything opened the door. But not just that, I really gave myself permission to succeed. I gave myself permission to let go. And when you give yourself permission to let go, you're playing your life on offense, not defense, and things become magical.
God, that's so good. Okay, I want to make a clarification here too, because you're not saying say yeah or yes, okay. You're saying like say yes, exclamation point. There's like some fire.
Yes is a standard too. Like it's a hard yes. I don't know how it's going to unfold, but I'm choosing in. So first of all, nothing you do should be soft. It should be owned. It should be a definiteness. It should be a strong intent. And when you own it, if it's weak, it's not going to have any power. It's got to be a definiteness. Now, you've got to be willing to understand you don't know what it's going to look like. But the more we go into the unknown, that's where freedom is created. But no one's going to have freedom without personal transformation. Personal transformation is what creates freedom. We want to dedicate ourselves to being conscious of our unconscious. When we get conscious of our unconscious is showing us why we're behaving the way we're behaving. But most people are not aware of it. But when we start getting conscious of that, then we're going to be like, oh, interesting. That's why I did that. It's a really good thing to know. Now you're in harmony with your silent partner, your subconscious mind, and that's going to free you up so significantly.
We should also probably discuss how if you're someone who is not in the habit of saying yes, that you're going to be uncomfortable for a while with this new habit.
You're going to be very uncomfortable. I asked somebody to change their pricing, and they said, I'm going to do it. They said yes. Then I talked to them, and they said that I haven't done it yet. And I said, so you didn't say yes. You didn't honor the yes. So it's about sticking to it and watching it. If you stick to it, it's going to unfold. That's why I always say vision is very important, but vision is not enough. You have to have vision mixed in with the right mindset that's going to create it. And when you do that, I can't say it over and over again, you're going to be, do, and have what your future self would be, do, and have. We've got to honor our future self. Saying yes is honoring the person we want to become.
You kind of got into this and touched on it, but I want to make it really crystal clear. What is the payoff someone can expect from taking on this new mindset of yes?
The payoff is you're going to have greater self-respect. You're going to have greater opportunities. You're going to have greater experiences. You're going to have much more proximity to the people you want proximity with that are out of the blue that you've never met them yet. And your life is going to become much more magical. The more we choose into our life, you're going to fall so much in love with life. Those people who say, oh, life is hard. This is hard. Those are the people who are driven outside in. And they don't understand the inside-outside law that the outside is just a reflection on the inside. If you haven't changed the results on the outside, you haven't changed them on the inside. So you haven't done enough repetition.
All right, Raj, let's hop into an exercise for today. How can everyone implement this?
I have a personal challenge for everybody. I want you to get in the habit for the next 30 days to say yes first. Have that be your first instinct. Now, if it doesn't feel right, then you can change your mind. But open the space for bigger things. it's going to allow you to think bigger, but it's going to also reshape your outside world to have much different experiences.
So good. All right. Thank you so much, Raj, and thanks to all of you. If you enjoyed this episode, please give us a rating and review. Share this with your friends and family, and we'll see you next week with another episode on the Seven Figure Standard podcast.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Seven Figure Standard. We hope you found the insights and strategies helpful on your journey to success. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave us a rating and review on your favorite podcast platform to help us reach more people like you. To learn more about Arash and Mikey and how Voss Coach & Co. can help you achieve your goals and reach new levels of success, visit vosscoachandco.com. Thank you again for listening, and we'll see you on the next episode of Seven Figure Standard.